Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. Alright guys, on tonight's episode, we're going to talk about the first state, the breaking state, leading the charge in the post-Bruen era, the blueprint to get around the Bruen decision. I know, we never would have seen this coming. Well, of course it is coming, and there's a specific state. You guys can guess down in the comments field below which one you think it is. Do you think it's one of the top contenders, or do you think it's a little-known underdog in the gun control world? You never know. I cannot wait to walk through this with you because this is what we are fighting. Every single day we talk about furthering the Second Amendment for the next generation. Well, this fight just went from a federal fight to 50 independent state fights across the board. That is why we need you to subscribe. We hope we earn that subscription with information and going forward for our Second Amendment, and we'd love to have you in the fold because we need as many people as we can. Now, everything is linked in the description box below per usual. I'm going to say a quick read from our sponsor who made this video possible, and then we're going to find out who was right in the comments field on which state is leading the way with the blueprint for the post-Bruen world. Let's get it. So this video is brought to you by Nautilus Ammunition. Nautilus offers a unique opportunity for your freedom seeds. Specializing in American-made 9mm and 223, they have a subscription service which ships fast and right to your door. By cutting out retail and shipping straight from the manufacturer, you win in a big way. We're talking about saving $3 to $5 a box. To get updates on sales and product releases, head on over to their Instagram, which is linked in the description box below, and check it out for yourself. Thank you so much for Nautilus Ammunition for sponsoring this weekend's videos, but now, let's get into which state is leading the way with the blueprint to get around post-Bruen. Alright, enough tongue-in-cheek, let's get into it. In all seriousness, this fight that we are in for our gun rights, this is why we need to be so up on it, because it is going to a state level. In case you didn't miss it, or you're new to the country, there's 50 of those. Well, 50 states means 50 fights, and that's what we're going to do every single day, day in, day out on this channel. Let's get it. I cannot wait to hear what you guys think on this one. California offers blueprint for states affected by Supreme Court gun ruling. Who thought it was New York? I know, I see y'all out there. But no, it is California. But, of course, I'm delivering this kind of in a tongue-in-cheek way because they're not going to change their ways. They're just going to try to find ways to skirt the rules. But what I want to show you, and what I want to highlight here, is what the decision from Bruen is doing to these gun control states and how they're trying to subvert the will of the court in their own little unique ways and how it's going to ultimately fail when we stand up, we start doing lawsuits, and we start fighting back because the Constitution and the SCOTUS is now on our side. Thank you very much, Clarence Thomas, for such a clear opinion. All right, check this out. After the highly anticipated Supreme Court ruling that struck down a century-old New York gun law, California, which has some of the most stringent gun laws in the U.S., has vowed to pursue multiple avenues to keep its residents safe, setting an example for other states. Ooh, blueprints, examples, safety, what could go wrong? Quote, the Bruen decision is certainly a setback. It undermines public safety. It makes communities, neighborhoods, and children less safe, Bonta said. Now, he's the AG there. It makes Americans less safe. Okay, so what he's referring to, just so you guys are fully aware, boiled down, he's saying that people who legally have the right to carry a firearm, who own that gun legally, now have the opportunity to actually do so. That's what he's saying, making everyone else unsafe. Not criminals, you, legal law-abiding citizens. Square off how that makes sense. I know it doesn't. Let's keep going. Now let's hear from Gavin Newsom. Newsom confirms some of California's next moves for public safety in a statement after the Supreme Court announced its decision. Quote, while this reckless decision erases a common-sense gun safety law that existed for decades, there's that common sense word again. California anticipated this moment because they are so much smarter than you and I. He said, quote, our administration has been working closely with the Attorney General and the legislature for months. Our state is ready with a bill that will be heard next week to update and strengthen our public carry law and make it consistent with Supreme Court ruling. Just as Chief Justice Roberts and Justice Kavanaugh said states like California are free to do. Well, they are free to do it. There are some limits, but listen to where they're going and I'll show you what they're trying to subvert and how it's not going to work. For example, the Supreme Court ruled that a concealed carry weapons law allows for safety assessments in granting permission to an individual seeking to have a concealed firearm, including background checks, fingerprints, and firearms training. Concealed weapons can also be prohibited in certain sensitive places, including schools, courts, legislative assemblies, and government buildings. Well, that's nothing new, nothing changed. In fact, they're trying to sell that as see, we can still do this. The truth of the matter is, the Supreme Court said, yeah, those sensitive places that have historical precedent, because that was an important piece of the ruling in Bruen, Historical precedent is okay, but you can't just make anything a sensitive place. Like an entire city, you can't do that. A movie theater, a drugstore, a curb, you can't do that. So now they're trying to sell that from a standpoint of, look, we can still do these things. Nothing changed there. Stop trying to sell it. But here's the other thing. They go about it and say, see, we can put tests on everybody's ability, like with fingerprinting, they already do. In fact, most states do. Background checks, most states do. Seeking a concealed firearm, you have to have training. I'm not agreeing with these, but what my point is, these are not new concepts in California. However, people are still getting their firearm rights back. They're trying to sell this as, we can still do prerequisites. Yes, you can, but you cannot do them at an extreme level. Like, for example, a $1,000 fine or a $1,000 fee. You can't do that. The Supreme Court laid out you could not do that. What they did say was you can do things like this, like background checks and fingerprinting and training. You can do those things, but they can't be egregious examples of such, which will be prohibitive to everyday people. That's what they're not telling you here. Now, the big irony in this whole video is this whole concept from California leading the way with a blueprint law, everything that is going on in New York, Illinois, Washington, D.C., California, they're all going to try to skirt around and do this the best that they can. In fact, they're pounding their chest and they're saying that all the other laws and their common sense amongst this epidemic of gun violence aren't going to be affected, which is drastically wrong because they also looked at the different standards. It's no longer a two-step process. It's now a one-step process on the judicial level. So all those AR bans and all those MAG bans, it's not quite the same conversation anymore. And that's what I've got for you guys. Make sure you guys are in the fold. If you think we earned that subscription, subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow morning on the Bullet Points. I'm Braden. See you later.